Bring back a new meaning to the word, Bert. Go fly a kite, huh?
Exactly. And you know what? The whole coast-to-coast listening audience could do this. We could put kites in the air as a protest to this fear-mongering and to show that we are unified in changing this world with a positive consciousness and flip things around, put some color up in the air, folks. You know, start some clubs, get going, and you know what? Everybody sees it. That's the beauty of the thing.
I love it. And it's relaxing. Okay, Bert, thanks. And that's his vehicle, John.
Yeah, it's a wonderful idea.
And it works. Let's go east of the Rockies. Myrtle Beach, Florida. You're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hi, this is Mita from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hi, Mita. How are you?
I'm great. Happy birthday, George. A little bit early.
It's coming up. Yep, thanks.
I couldn't get through last year to tell you happy birthday. I wrote you a poem, and I didn't get to send it, so maybe I'll get it to you this year.
Okay.
Okay. And how's Casey?
Casey's doing well. She's getting big.
Oh,
she's. I know one thing. She's eating well.
Yeah, I'll bet. I think about her all the time. My cat's name's Kissy, and it's just, you know, I grew up with labs, and I just love labs. Okay, let's, John. Wow, I've got so much to tell you. It just is unbelievable.
Let's do some of it tonight, then.
Huh?
Yeah, let's share some of it. What you have, then I'd love to hear.
Well, yeah, sure. Well, you mentioned the tree earlier, and another guest months ago said something about when we find out the truth about the tree, then we'll like kind of know everything there is, you know, or the God information or whatever. And I read the dictionary for fun, and so one of the definition of the ancient, was it Druidic or Scottish word or whatever for tree is treow, Treow, which it means druid, and it also means truth. And truth means poetry and prophecy. So I'm like, this is pretty good that I'm a poet. Well, okay. And it turns out, after I found this out, I was about the time I realized my poetry keeps coming true. And it's strange, but one tree that intrigues me is the one at my patio. And it's called the wahoo tree. Have you heard of it?
No, I have not.
Okay. It's a type of willow. Willow is very sacred in the British Isles, so forth. But and also to Native Americans. The wahoo is very sacred to Native Americans. And one day I was on my patio, and I noticed a blue flash of light appear in the corner of my eye inside the branches of this tree. And I thought, well, that's odd because there's no lightning, no rain. You know, well, there's no rain or thunder or clouds in the sky or anything. It's just I must be seeing things. I didn't really think of it. But when I found the definition of wahoo, I fell out of my chair. That's just blew me away. But it means a burning bush.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen a few other things. I've seen a rainbow in the east, that which is impossible. And this rainbow went straight up in the sky. It didn't have an arch, didn't have another end or anything. And that's impossible too. And so I thought, well, who knows? Couldn't figure out an astronomical explanation, so I just tried to forget about it, and maybe even convinced myself I didn't see it, and I was even questioned my sanity, But after I saw it the second time in the West, this pretty much freaked me out. And
why do you think this is happening to you, Mita?
I don't know, but from July until October, I was in a constant state of, like Eli Stone. Have you seen that show on TV?
No.
Oh, well, he's just this regular guy going around, he's going on living his life, and all these miracles keep falling out of the sky and landing in his lap.
Is that what happens to you?
It seems to be, because when Ian's guest in October said that it was called the Pillar of Light, it's translated incorrectly from the Bible where it says a pillar of fire. And then I fell out of my chair. And it's taken me a long time to get back in my chair, but
well, you can't. Don't fall out of that chair. Just stay in it. John Jay Harper, why do some people, like Mita, have, I don't want to call it better luck, but why do better things happen to them than other people?
You know, I think a lot of these symbols come through from nature, and nature speaks to us at times like she's talking about, because we're probably on the edge, what I call the edge of chaos, which is the highest level of creativity, and you know, where things can break through the space-time barrier, can break through from the other side. And the tree is very important to my work because, of course, the shaman realizes that the tree is the symbol of an axis that's going through the center of the earth. You know, in our Christian myth of the Christmas tree and Santa Claus coming from the North Pole with gifts, and he wears a suit of red and white being the ice caps on the poles, the red being the core of the earth, the molten red lava. And that sacred idea of a pillar of fire, a burning bush, is found through every cosmology and all native traditions in one form or another, and it's marvelous that she brought this up. That's a very important symbol that you're seeing.
Let's go to Albany, New York. Michael, you're up. Go ahead, Michael.
Hello, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Well, thank you, Michael. Very kind.
Also, Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Yes. Going back to the Kundalini, I had a vision of the male and female goddess, the principals, on sitting in a white four-leaf clover and atop an elephant. While the male told the story, the female served the cakes and tea, and from within that rose the white, wispy Kundalini. Now, I know Mr. Kaku had once questioned where the female principle might be. It's right in that section. And although most people relate to the first chakra as just the Kundalini, but it arises from the creation, the mental intent, and the emotional body.
Okay.
John, you had mentioned earlier, too, doppelgangers. I'm fascinated by doppelgangers. Yes. I have always been told, though, that the doppelganger is the exact opposite of who you are. So if you're the good John Jay Harper, your doppelganger might not be that pleasant. Have you heard that?
Well, yes, and what you're referring to is the shadow aspect, the shadow side, or the anti, you know, the idea even of Christ, Antichrist, or, you know, our double being the exact polar opposite at every level. You know, what we would think at this level, the other would think the opposite. And so you have this binary tug of war going on. That's an interesting idea, too, George, because I just found some research dealing with the planet, or with the Sirius, with the star system, and I'm always looking for that kind of information. And it talked about that the opposite of Christ was in Sirius, in this star system. I had never heard of that before, and so I'm going to follow up. But that's a fascinating idea that you're bringing up here.
The Dogon tribe, which you mentioned earlier in the Sirius star system, that fascinates me, where they were able to know about that system way before we had modern astronomy. I think they were told something from those above.
Absolutely.
One of the greatest stories.
Yeah, and it deals with DNA, too, and the fact that if you look at the map, the polar orbits, and you start mapping that out and just kind of freeze frame it, there's actually a double helix going on there with the orbits and the Sun and our Earth and Sirius A and B, and it's really phenomenal that, you know, that again maps to this higher level of consciousness, maybe being linked to the orbits of Sirius A and B, this magnetic field coming through the lens of the Milky Way, through our sun, into our solar system, and now transforming everything, because that's the myths that I focus on. It's about an energy transformation of consciousness.
Tony, Utica, New York, you're up with us. Hello, Tony.
Good morning, John and George. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I really enjoy this program. It's got my torch burning bright, and I just wanted to maybe throw some optimistic views about the synonyms and antonyms of, like, courage and reality. I'd rather